Coming up on Cultural Capital, we're at the V&A exploring the world of men's fashion in their new exhibition Fashioning Masculinities. Thing of the Week comes from London's brilliant Jenkins Museum, and I'll be reviewing the charming new biopic of the world's worst golfer, Maurice Flitcroft, the Phantom of the Open. Forget fleeces, forget dad jeans. For most of fashion history, men's attire has been about power and display. This new exhibition at the V&A aims to trace its development from Renaissance pantaloons to Harry Styles' Gucci gown. Get your glad rags on.
Fashioning Masculinities, being the V&A's first major exhibition looking at menswear, is really looking to explore the diversity of masculine attire and appearance over the centuries. We really wanted to show the historical menswear in its best light and show its relevance to our contemporary conversations. So we decided to, where possible, show the work on the same mannequins so that you really had a sense of these historical figures being in the room with us. So I think what's most surprising is that variety, that range, that we have everything from very beautiful 18th century shirts through to extraordinary pink ensembles and the most exquisite 19th century tailoring, that breadth is there, and the variety of people who have worn menswear is really broad. What we're seeing is really a coming together of a wider societal discussion around masculinity, with young designers who are really pushing at the boundaries of what gendered dress is and could be, and also a real moment in the media of openness and inclusivity. So these incredible moments that we've seen with Billy Porter on the Oscars red carpet, with Bimini Bon Boulash on RuPaul's Drag Race, and with Harry Styles on the cover of Vogue, we can see how open society is becoming to these conversations.
Nicholas Nickleby is one of Dickens' most celebrated novels, and it's stuffed with his biggest bugbears: poverty, power, the exploitation of women and children. And it's also one of his earliest, something you can tell just by looking at the manuscript. We went to the Dickens Museum to have a peek at it.
Charles Dickens wrote some of his most famous works right in this very room. One of them was Nicholas Nickleby. We actually have an original manuscript page of Nicholas Nickleby, the first page of chapter 9. I think it's a really interesting piece, because not only does it show Dickens's quite terrible handwriting, but it also shows how he scratched out things he wasn't pleased with. And actually the back of this page also shows how he started again on that chapter, which I think is really great. Dickens was really particular about the way that he wrote. He often wrote in the morning, keeping his afternoons free for socialising, walking around the city to get inspiration, and for his charitable events that he did with friends and family. Dickens was also particular about the way that he wrote. So he actually wrote with a quill and ink instead of a nib pen, even when that became popular at the end of the century. He also only wrote on one side of the manuscript page that he was working on, which is also why he crossed the back of it out and started again on the other side. And he also wrote in blue ink at the later part of his life. So from about 1850s onwards, he wrote in blue ink. And because this manuscript is in black ink, means that you can tell by sight that it was actually one of his earlier works.
Now it's a 60-second film review. I don't care about golf. I know nothing about golf. I loved this biopic of a man who can't even play golf, but still managed to get into one of the world's most prestigious golf tournaments. Played here by Rylance with so much heart, you just want to set up a crowdfunder for a new 4-iron. Maurice Flitcroft was a real person, a crane operator from Barrow-in-Furness, armed with an almost pathological optimism, who in his late 40s got it into his head to have a crack at the British Open, despite having never whacked a ball in his life. Craig Roberts directs with confidence, wit and just the right amount of whimsy, and Sally Hawkins is wonderful as Flitcroft's wife Jean. The 3 actors playing his sons are also a treat, and I want to shout out the costume designer Jenkins, mainly for the twins' matching pyjamas. I know it's tempting, but try not to read up on this before you watch. Each new development is a surprise, and even though I'm inclined to agree with Flitcroft's son that in the face of zero talent or experience, a backup plan is a good idea. This is such a sweet example of the power of dreams that you can't help but enjoy it. Roberts has tapped into the curiously British enthusiasm for the preposterous underdog. And as Flitcroft points out, it's the trying that counts. For more great stuff to see and do in the capital this week, go to the Evening Standard on TikTok and ES Culture on Instagram. See you next week.